everyone, this is Anomaly. Thank you for joining me for another video on the $5 Journey page. Check me out on Twitter at Anomaly197711. That's 197711. All right, that's on Twitter, Facebook page, the $5 Journey, and of course here on YouTube. All right, check me out. Also, my email address is Anomaly1977, that's the year that I was born, a great year. Anomaly1977 at outlook.com. I will put my email below so that if anyone has any ideas, any comments, you feel shy about leaving it out here on YouTube or saying something, then you can always inbox me, okay? Today's video, I just want to talk briefly about, and I know I always say briefly, and I'm not brief, but I try. Okay, so today I'd like to talk about the difference between compound hustle and side hustle, right? So in some of my videos I've spoken about compound interest and also how compound hustle in conjunction with compound interest can really lead to a lot of gains, right? Some really great financial progress, some great financial growth, all right? And I've also spoken about having a side hustle, okay? So I want to talk about the difference because I don't want anyone to be confused. Now, both of those concepts are introduced in the book, The $5 Journey, but I don't use those words necessarily, okay? So I want to make sure that if I'm making a video and I'm using words or using concepts, I want to make sure that they are, adequately understood. So, anyways, excuse me. So a side hustle essentially, it's really simple. It's just another revenue stream coming in, another form of cash flow. It could be a second job, it could be a side business, it could be, I don't know, it could be some sort of hobby that you are making money off of, right? Anything that brings in additional cash flow, all right? Side hustle could also be investing in a percentage of a business, right? So you get you're not necessarily involved in the day-to-day activities of a business, but you are, you're investing in it, so you maybe would be entitled to some sort of dividend or something along those lines. You have like a cash flow coming in from that, right? So that's what a side hustle is. A side hustle is anything that brings in additional cash flow, right? Other than your primary source of cash flow, which might be a job or might be a business that you own or something along those lines, right? So that is a side hustle. Now, compound hustle. What compound hustle is it is taking your knowledge, your experience, maybe your passions, right? And applying it in such a way that it leads to increased assets for yourself, okay? What do I mean by assets? Assets are anything that generate wealth for you, anything that bring in money for you. So could an asset be a side hustle? Yeah, sure. Your side hustles could be, like I said, a business that you open up, right? Or it could be a part-time job, okay? Now, would I consider a part-time job an asset? Not really, because you're working for somebody else, all right? So that is not necessarily an asset of yours, all right? You are an asset to another company, all right? But you are not an asset to you, okay? You're bringing in that extra money. That's perfect. I'm not knocking it. But what side hustle does is, right? Not side hustle. What compound hustle does is taking your thoughts, your experiences, your passions, right, and using that to add extra value to you, so to increase your assets. So that might be, okay, let me give an example. So a compound hustle might be your knowledge of real estate, all right? Your knowledge of real estate. So what you do is, you have your regular, you have your regular 9 to 5 or whatever, your business, your main source of income. And what you do, because you have a knowledge of real estate, okay, you know how to get good properties that are going to deliver a stream of positive income every month. Okay, so yeah, it's a side hustle in the sense that real estate's your side hustle, but it's a compound hustle because you're using that knowledge to create assets for yourself, to create that revenue coming in, that extra cash flow coming in, right? So now you've gotten those houses. Now you're no longer, let's say you have a property that's bringing you $1,000 extra per month after all the bills, all the expenses, the mortgage is paid, the tax is paid, the water bill is paid, all that kind of stuff, right? Let's say you're bringing in $1,000 a month, right? So you've used compound hustle to increase your cash flow by an additional $1,000 per month, right? Now, it doesn't stop there. See, with the side hustle, sometimes you are limited to the hours of the day. So let's say, for instance, you have a side hustle and your side hustle is a part-time job, right? Or some sort of second job, okay? And you have maybe you have a family, or you have a significant other, a partner, a spouse, whatever. And you want to spend time with that person. Of course, you got to work your normal job, right? And then you have this side hustle. You have a second job, or whatever. Well, you're limited to the amount of hours in a day, to do that. With compound hustle, what you're doing is you are taking knowledge and experience. So there's not necessarily any limit on that. Okay, because going back to that example with real estate, okay, so you use your compound hustle, your knowledge, your experience of real estate to go and purchase a property that's bringing you $1,000 a month. Well, then you're going to go and add on to that by getting another property that's maybe going to bring in $1,500 a month. All right, maybe you're going to build onto that to get another property that's bringing in $2,000 a month. So now you've used compound hustle to bring in a $2,000 a month property, a $1,500 a month property, a $1,000 a month property, right? What's that come to? $4,500 a month using compound hustle. All right, now a side hustle may only be limited to certain things. You're not necessarily using. I mean, hopefully you do use your knowledge or whatever, but you may not necessarily be using that. Okay, you may just let's say a pizzeria needs a delivery person, so that's your side hustle, and you may be doing that and everything, and that's great because it's bringing in extra cash flow. You're using that cash flow and you're taking it, putting it in your financial vehicles, and that's generating financial progress. It's generating compound interest, so that's a great thing. Okay. Compound hustle, what compound hustle would do in that situation is compound hustle would say, oh, well, why don't I start a company, because I know about deliveries and I know about all that other stuff. Why don't I start a company, like Uber delivers, and that way, I can network with all these other delivery people. I know kind of the logistics of delivery. I know what needs to happen. I know how much time it needs to take from the shop to reach to the customer, so the food is still warm or refrigerated or whatever. So I'm going to use my knowledge and my experience as a delivery person to form a network of other delivery people, or other delivery companies or whatever. So you're using your knowledge to build assets, okay? To build upon not only your base pay, what you're normally bringing in financially, but also to build upon your worth, your net value, because now you have a delivery company, right? So is it a side hustle in a way, in the sense of bringing in extra money? Yeah, but it's also using your knowledge and your experience to increase exponentially your worth. Okay, so a side hustle is good. Again, I'm not knocking a side hustle. It's definitely one of those things, especially if you are just getting by, or maybe you're not getting by at all, and you need to try to figure out a way to get that $5 a day to start putting in that investment account, right? That's a great thing. That's what the book tries to tell you. That's what this YouTube channel tries to tell you. That's what my Facebook page tries to tell you. That's what my Twitter account tries to tell you. Okay, that's what I'll tell you on Outlook if you email me. Okay, but what you want to do is, at some point, you want to take that knowledge, that experience that you may have. Maybe it's a passion that you may have, right? And you want to be able to build assets on top of that. For instance, and this will be my last example, and I'll sign off. Let you guys enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, depending on when you're watching this. Okay. For example, I enjoyed shuffling. Okay, I don't know, just I'm a New England boy by birth, and raised there for a lot of years, and that's where my parents met and got married and had me, and I remember a lot of fond memories of the winter time, and just going out to shovel with my father in the snow, and moving to Brooklyn, and then to New Jersey, and that sort of thing. Still doing kind of the same thing. So it was always a very nostalgic experience for me when it snowed, because I said, oh man, I'm gonna be able to go out and do some shoveling, right? Play in the snow. I used to make snow forts, and we'd have snowball fights and all that other wonderful stuff. So I would go and I would shovel people's walks, and I had my side hustle, which was shoveling people's walks, and all that kind of stuff. What changed it to a compound hustle? Okay, compound hustle was the knowledge and experience that I had for doing something for maybe 20 something years at that point, almost 30 years at that point, and saying, okay, well, I know the logistics of a snow removal service. I know the tools, the resources, the time it takes to go from this place to that place. I know how to drive in the snow. I know how to drive when the roads are icy or whatever, there's a blizzard going on. So I know how to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move from just having a side hustle of just shoveling individuals' walkway to forming a company, right? Forming a company, which is my compound hustle, so that it's not based just off of myself, right? And doing the shoveling, but now instead of reaching 5 houses, now I can reach 15 houses. Now I can reach 25 houses. Now I can reach 30 houses. Okay, so and every month that there's snow, which happens in the northeast part of the country, I'm able to make additional money, additional cash flow, which I then go and put alongside with my compounding interest financial vehicle, right? Mutual funds, REITs, stock, real estate, those kinds of things, and it's able to grow my wealth exponentially. Okay, and not only is my finances growing, but also my net worth, my value, because I've added the asset of a snow removal company to things. Okay, so that's the difference. Hopefully that cleared up some stuff. Hopefully I wasn't too confusing with things. Just in short, side hustle is basically could be an extra side job, part-time job, a second job, whatever, something to bring in some extra money. A compound hustle is your knowledge and experience that is not only bringing in extra money, but is also adding extra value to you, adding extra assets to you. It is the formation of just being a one-man show, snuffling, to being a snow removal company. Okay, that's bringing in multiple streams of cash flow from multiple clients. Okay, so that's what it is. Like I said, hopefully this was clear. Hopefully you guys can check me out. Like the video if that is your thing. If you did like it, if you got something out of it, subscribe to the channel. Okay, subscribe to the channel. You know, I've been having some decent dialogue in person with individuals and regarding finances, but also, you know, people have been emailing me and things like that. So, you know, I'm always down to discuss these, you know, discuss different financial vehicles, different options, different ideas. You know, a lot of times we are, you know, because everybody around us is pretty much doing the same thing, you know, we are lacking in knowledge, lacking in understanding, but then we're also following the same patterns of everybody else, you know, and everybody else is drowning in debt. Everybody else is living from paycheck to paycheck. Everybody else doesn't have the means to retire. Everybody else, you know, is wondering what's going on with politics and all this other stuff, because, you know, it seems like a lot of times the politicians are out for money and for personal financial gain of their own. Well, what about us as a small people? And, you know, there's a whole talk about the media, and, you know, so in order to help fight against that, we need to have a seat at the table. And we are not going to have a seat at the table unless we are able to improve our financial situation. Okay, I know it sounds messed up. I know that is not a popular thing, but, you know, we are not able to legislate ourselves right now out of the financial mess that we're in. Okay, so by me helping to financially educate people, get them to a point where they are able to invest, they are able to save, they are able to generate multiple, you know, streams of income and cash flows, whether it be passive or active. That equips us, that empowers us to be able to say, hey, you know, I need to get a seat at this financial table. All right, I need to get a say-so in the legislative decisions that are being made that affect, you know, myself, my family, my friends, my loved ones, my co-workers, those kinds of things. Okay, so hopefully this was a benefit to you, and you know, tune in to the next video. Thank you so much. Have a good one.